Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome into another edition of the HyVeeHomestretch live from your hometown, Oskaloosa, Hy-Vee. My name is Emery Songer, and as always, I start the show with the store director here at Hy-Vee in Oskaloosa, Cleet Yorth. Cleet, how's it going, my man?
Outstanding. How are you doing tonight?
I couldn't be better. It's really cold outside.
It is.
And one thing that I'm excited for is the above freezing temperatures that should be coming our way in the next few days.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's going to be a heat wave.
if you want a real heat wave, you got to come in here because there are some fantastic meal options this evening as a part of your Thursday dinners.
So we got a hot deal going on, a classic comfort food. So we're doing chicken fried steak, mashed potatoes, country gravy, green beans or corn, and Texas toast for only $5. Unbeatable deal.
No, I mean, if you can come in here and hand over an Abraham Lincoln and you get that much food, I mean, for me, I'm going to eat half of it, I'm going to take half of it home and eat it later.
Yeah. There's not a drive-thru in town that can beat that deal.
Absolutely not, and we've come to expect that from you. We also come to expect that every month you've had typically some pretty high-level deals.
Oh, yeah.
So you walk in here, man, it's really cold outside, but you know what would really cheer me up? If I got to save a lot of money on stuff that I buy all the time anyways. Cleet, what's on the menu on there?
All right, so we're testing the limits this month, so I've got 9 deals this month.
Impossible.
A few more each, seems like one each month gets added, so we'll see how my memory is. So to start it off, we're gonna do 80% lean ground beef, 1-pound rolls, just $1.88. That's been one of our most popular deals we've been running, so we brought it back for January. We also have General Mills cereals, 3 for $5. Lean cuisine dinners for the folks that are maybe starting to diet for their new year, just 3 for $5. Navel oranges, 48 cents. Little Debbie snacks, just 98 cents a box. We also have Old Home Bread, 88 cents. Simply Done bath tissue, it's 9 mega rolls. They're huge. It's like 36 rolls of toilet paper for only $4.99. We also have Swanson pot pies, 3 for $1. And then last but not least, Keystone Light 15 packs for only $6.99.
That is impossible.
There they are, made it.
That is impossible. Not only did you remember all of those, but hundreds of dollars I'm sure some people can save by just, and some of that stuff can last you for months. So we talk so much about how ridiculous some of these deals are, but one of my favorite things is the fact that every Thursday when we have this show, you guys have a dinner.
Yep.
And next week, we'll have another dinner.
Yeah.
What's going to be that dinner for us, Cleve?
So we're bringing one back that we did a few months ago. It's 8 ounces of slow smoked brisket, jumbo baked potato, green beans, corn, and Texas toast for only $7. $7 for a brisket meal.
$7 for a brisket, and if I know anything about Cleet Yorth, it's that he knows his way around brisket.
It's delicious.
And for me, I'm gonna come, as I usually do, come here early before the show, indulge in the fantastic meal that's provided not only for me, but for everyone in the Oskaloosa area on a Thursday night, and that is from 4 to 7. Cleet, you're a madman. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be enjoying those January deals. I promise you. So that's Cleet, and we are going to have a fantastic show here tonight for you. We had all 3 of our high school athletic directors here for the HyVeeHomestretch last week. This week we're going to have a William Penn show, and we're going to focus on both the men's and women's basketball programs, and we'll also have their athletics director, Nick Rule, and we're going to go ahead and talk to him right after the break. Nick Rule on deck right here on the HyVeeHomestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy, with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your face storm a sandcastle? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? Right now, your mouth could be tongue-bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the do.
The new Hy-Vee Mega Ad. It's heavy with deals. Look for it in your mailbox in January. You'll find the new Hy-Vee Mega Ad is 88 pages of great deals that are good all month long. Plus, you'll get great tips and recipes. So don't forget to look for the new Hy-Vee Mega Ad, coming to your mailbox every month with deals that are good all month long, starting in January.
HyVeeHomestretch, hometown Oscaloos Hy-Vee, fantastic $5 meal available if you want to come in, so plenty of time to do so. Full show on tap. My first guest is the Director of Athletics here at William Penn University, Nick Rule. Nick,
Good to see you, man. How's everything?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Hey, can't complain.
How was holidays?
It was nice. It was a nice little break, but ready to get back at it. We got student athletes getting back, great coaches, a lot of great things going on, a lot of work to be done, and so it's time to get back at it.
Getting back at it is one thing that we can talk about, but the reason I had all of the high school athletics directors and activities directors last week was to kind of do a comprehensive year in review for all of those schools. And this week, I'm able to fit William Penn in for a nice little 18-minute block here for us to revisit 2017 and everything that was accomplished. Of course, you were not the Director of Athletics for the entirety of 2017, but you knew what was going on in most of the programs. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning of 2017. And as we went in, of course, wrestling had some success, but it was the basketball teams that really put themselves on a national stage. Willie Scott and his women's basketball team making their first trip to nationals in a long time. The men made a run to the Final Four. It was a special time for a basketball fan at William.
Yeah, a lot of fun last year, with our two basketball programs doing what they did. The men's basketball team, we knew that we were going to be a top team in the country. We knew that we were going to compete for a national title, and dang near got it, made it to the Final Four. That's just expectations. When you're a coach, you want to get to the point to where you have expectations. Then you have the stress of expectations. Well, that men's basketball program, led by Coach Henry and Coach Sandquist, not only do they know the expectations are there for them to be successful at a high level every year, but they embrace it. And then the great surprise, and I think probably one of the top stories of the year last year was it was a surprise that the women's basketball team was the last team in, one of the last teams in for the national tournament. In fact, they had stopped practice, and so it was a great story. They almost knocked off a good Lewis and Clark team, but. Basketball is fun on this campus. It's definitely the highest attended sport on campus. And when your teams are successful, it helps. And we have a women's basketball program that's has had a history of success. That helps as well. So there's just a lot of nice things going on at Penn Gymnasium all year from the start of 2017 till the end.
Spring season, their softball and baseball teams play, and it's always tough in Iowa to be playing baseball and softball. Both programs went through some struggles this past year. They're looking to rebuild, but the real notable sport was track and field, and that included a national championship for William Penn Athletics, and you just can't beat that with anything.
Setting. Yeah, that's a great story. And you got to take a look first at Coach Christner and Coach Laird, guys that have been around for a long time building programs. They see what's going on in the heart and what they need to do, and they've made some really nice adjustments on bringing some talent in. Sometimes when you get into a situation, you get a recruiting class in, you might get a recruiting class that doesn't quite fulfill your expectations or wasn't quite what you thought, and so maybe some things happen to where it takes a few years to get that through, and I think that's what's going on with Coach Christner and Coach Laird there. They're really excited about their seasons coming up. I'm excited about it too. Those are two of the best coaches in their sport in the country, so you're going to see those programs bounce back. There's no doubt about it. And Coach Friesen and Coach Goose, what they've done with track and distance running and a second place finish last year, very nice at home. And again, they're back at it again, indoor and outdoor right now. And again, expectations starting there that they're going to be successful in the top of the conference every year. So we hosted 2 conference championships at William Penn in the spring last year, women's golf and track, and those are just great efforts with our athletic department to come together to work together and host a premier event in our conference. Really thought highly of the way William Penn University hosted those events and used us as an example at our Heart Conference Summit on the right way to do it. So a lot of really nice things that we ended that season. Yeah,
and we talk about Coach Christner and Laird. They have had plenty of success at William Penn University, so this is not a lull that people are just like, oh, well, maybe the program's direction needs to change. Those you talked about, 2 of the best in the country at what they do, and that is backed up by their career numbers.
Oh, absolutely.
As well.
I mean, they're getting those programs back on track. They're going to be a lot of fun.
Now, we'll talk about Seddon real quick. And he goes there, and I talked to Coach Ritter and Seddon after that was accomplished, and it's not every year that you get a chance to say you have a national champion at your school. And this guy, for 4 years, was one of the best throwers in the nation.
Oh, yeah. Emery, he's a national champion. And just yesterday we put up his jersey in our hallway. I mean, you're a national champion. You're going to be celebrated, and we're going to celebrate him this semester. We're going to bring him back to one of our home games. We're working on it with him right now. That's a great achievement. I mean, there's nothing you can say he's a national champion. You know, it's amazing. It gives me goosebumps talking about it. He represented William Penn University at the highest level and won a national championship in our colors. Doesn't get better than that.
And we can just keep it right there, because the fact that what he accomplished over 4 years with the track program as a whole looks like the foundation is really strong there. And Coach Friesen and I had a chance to talk about that after the season last year. So a lot of excitement in the track and field programs for the upcoming season as well. As we got into the summer, a chance to take a deep breath, step back for a couple of minutes, and that was when one of the craziest times of your life happened, and you actually went from I just kind of knew you as the Swiss Army knife of William Penn's athletics and the booster club, and just you did a lot of different things, but most notably you were the women's golf coach. But you were increasing your education behind the scenes as all that was going on, and when Greg Hafner, the previous director of athletics, retired and stepped aside, you went after the job, was able to get the job at the ripe age of 30, I believe. It's an unbelievable story. Take me through the summer and the process that got you into the position that you are here.
Well, you're making it sound more unbelievable than it is, and I appreciate the nice side comment there on it. But I mean, you know, I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by great people. Greg Hafner, one of them. Man, what a great mentor. Marsha Reardon, another great mentor. John Otteson, another one. Other folks along the way that when I worked at Musco, Matt Ellenberger, people like that, Joe Crookham. And so that guided me. You don't get to having success or achieving goals without talking to people. Coach Henry is another one that helped me in my coaching career, and learning from him and just really being a sponge. And I was fortunate enough to be a sponge and learn from some great people. And so, I was told behind the scenes, you got to do some things in order to prepare. And this was a goal. I wanted to be, William Penn University in my mind is one of the best places in the world. And so I went to school there, you went to school there. You know, there's something about the place, you know, and to be able to be the athletic director is just the most amazing honor in the world. And, you know, there's a few of our coaches here tonight. I mean, what an unbelievable position that I'm able to be in, to be a part and lead people like that, great people. And so I'm honored every day to be able to show up and you know, have this relationship with our coaches and talking to them and specializing, hey, how can we grow you to be the best you can be? The way that Todd Hafner is going to grow is not the same way that Coach Goose is going to grow. So it's getting to know them as people, getting to know who they are, getting to know what makes them tick, and then growing them as a person, as a coach, in order for us to be the most successful we can possibly be in every single way. That's in the classroom. That's meeting enrollment goals. That's bringing people to this place. It's a very special place. It's being successful on a field of play. But there's a lot of things that go into that, and we just got a really good team there. And so I'm just thank John Otteson for giving me the opportunity to lead an amazing group of people every single day, and it's the greatest honor in the world.
And a homegrown guy, which I'm sure is great for alums like me to see people who bleed the colors of Navy and Gold to bleed Navy and Gold in a position that really has an ability to make decisions. So along with that, you immediately got into that fall season, and football, of course, is the headline act. And although the football team lost a few games this season, it was all it felt amazing at the end of it when you had the huge win against Grandview. It was a
goosebumps.
season, and it was a season you had to plug in a lot of guys for injuries. It was just a fun time to watch that football team grow. And for your first year watching that, and the first time in I believe 4 or 5 years that William Penn was able to beat Grandview to end the season, there's a lot of high expectations, I think, within this program moving forward.
Well, Coach Hafner and his staff do a phenomenal job in developing student athletes, not only be great on the field of play, but to be great men, to be great fathers, to be brothers, you know. And so when you have that type of big picture approach, the successful programs have a big picture approach. Programs that just focus on X's and O's are not successful, okay, at the level that you can be every single year. They might have 1 year out of 4, okay, but they're not going to be consistently successful. It's about a big picture. And that's what Coach Hafner and his squad and his staff do. And, they're a young team. My goodness, we have to remind ourselves, they have a vast majority of their starting lineup coming back.
And an All-American who was a sophomore.
Yeah, come on. I mean, they almost beat a great Baker team, right? The start. In fact, we should have won that ball game, but that's youth, right? And then to combat Grandview, who, they came into that game thinking they were just going to walk all over us at our home. No way. No way. You know what? Here's a funny story about. I'm gonna tell you this now, and if they are watching, fine. Troy Plummer and I, their AD, we got a nice rapport and have a great appreciation for one another. But they almost forgot the trophy. That's how much respect they had. They almost forgot the trophy, the Rock and Ladder trophy. Well, I know where that trophy's at, Emery. Yep, it's here. It's William Penn.
It's in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
It's amazing, and seeing that team go and those coaches after all their hard work and lifting that trophy up, that's a special feeling. And anytime you beat your rival, a fierce rival, that's a special feeling. And that was a great way to end the fall season for that football team.
Yeah, volleyball had a struggling season, had a little bit more wins in recent times, but you were able to hire a new coach there. You hired a full-time dance and cheer coach, which of course took place in the fall as well. Cross country had some growth in youth, and I know Coach Goswich is really working on trying to turn that roster over. Then as all that stuff was happening, the soccer programs, for the first time in a long time, you had one coach for both programs, really did well under Coach Jamie Highcock and his staff. I know the seasons for both of them didn't end exactly how they wanted to, but a lot of optimism there for Coach Highcock on both sides.
Well, you talk about, you mentioned cheer and dance. Coach Reynolds is here tonight. You know, she's right out here. You know, you talk about Coach Highcock, all right? You talk about Coach Goose. It's finding out what is going to what within someone that's going to get them to be as successful as they can possibly be. And it's different with every single person. I use it in coaching all the time. 1 to 12 on your roster of golf. We had 18. So 1 to 18 on our golf roster. All right. You can't treat player 1 and player 5 the same. It's different ways to make them tick. And so the great thing about our staff right now is that we have some veterans that have been around a long time. We have a guy like Coach Williamson, who's been an AD and a coach, and he's a veteran, not necessarily at our school, but he's a veteran in the industry. And then we got a good young group of head coaches and assistant coaches that are phenomenal, like Alicia Cleaver, where we talked about her. We made a change in volleyball, needed to do it. Here we are. And then, you know, you got someone younger but been here around a few years, like Coach Jamie Highcock and his associate head coach, Coach Simon Brown. And what they did this year, it was the power of positive leadership. They took that women's program especially and injected some positivity in it and some belief that, hey, you can do this. Like, people want to know that someone believes in them. They want to know that someone has their back. And so you go into that, and just in that type of support means the world. And so I think that's what happened with that women's team. That turnaround was incredible for that women's team. And it's just an environment, a culture that you build, and that's the culture we're trying to build throughout the entire department. And you're seeing a lot of success with it as we go. And it's an exciting time. And you know, use Coach Goose. He's really rebuilding that track program, or that cross country program. He's in his first year as head coach. You know, that's recruiting, right? You build a program by recruiting. You change a program by recruiting. Well, we just found out this morning that he's 100% up on applications now than a year ago. That's amazing stuff. Put him in a position to be successful and to grow, and look at what's happening. And so, and that's our people taking advantage of an opportunity to grow. And that's just the type of people we have right now. Some real incredible people in our athletic department.
Real quick, Nick, basketball teams and the wrestling team are the chief people in action. Bowling team's also off to a very good start, but let's talk basketball just real quick for this season. Williamson in his first season, they're off to a good start. Didn't play very well last night, but this season off to one of the best starts in recent memory since we've been born. And then the men's side, of course, off to a 13-1 start, third ranked in the nation.
I can't remember exactly the date, and Coach Rogers and I were talking about it, and she told me I already forgot. But let's just say that the women's basketball team is off to the best start since the Cold War. All right, so
that's true.
You know, and that's impressive stuff, right? I mean, you know,
Reagan, first-year head coach.
Yeah, first-year head coach, and got a great associate head coach and Coach Rogers, who you'll talk to in a bit. Again, same type of thing, changing a culture. You need a culture change. There was great things going on, but in order to get to that next level, we needed something. And Coach Scott was amazing, but you know, he decided to move on with his career, and we are so dang fortunate to have these two on our athletic staff. Coach Williamson has great success. I mean, he's one of the most successful small college basketball coaches for women in the last 15 years in Iowa. Man, are we lucky to have him? Yeah, we are. We're very fortunate. And so they're off to a really nice start. And yeah, a little setback last night, but you're not going to win every game, and they'll learn from it. They'll get better, and that's what good coaching is all about. And as long as the players buy in, they're going to be successful. Men's team, hey, it's what we're used to. I hate to say it, Coach Henry would probably agree with me. I mean, we expect it. We expect them to be successful like they are, and it's a fun show to watch every night at Penn Gymnasium when they're playing. You know, they're going to contend for a national title. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and William Penn men's basketball, women's basketball, they will have their next home game next Wednesday against Grandview, which is a huge matchup.
Huge matchup, the toilet paper game. Come on out, bring toilet paper. I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to promote that, but bring toilet paper. All right, we're not going to buy it for you, but bring it. And if you end up, everyone should throw. Stands, community, whatever.
Maybe you can get some, generous people to bring like one of those fantastic deals on the gigantic rolls that we have here at HyVee.
Yeah. and I'm all about it. Maybe we can work on that. The other thing is that first 1,000 people in the stands are going to get a Penn Zone shirt. White, it's a whiteout, so we want the whole place to be a whiteout, and the Penn Zone shirt, and then the O is going to be a toilet paper roll. So
beautiful.
Let's go.
You can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah.
Nick Rule, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Congratulations on a fantastic
Thanks
calendar
a lot for
year.
everything you do for us.
And we'll be talking to you again very soon.
Yeah, sure. Anytime you want.
We'll talk to him anytime we want. That's Nick Rule, the Director of Athletics here at William Penn University. We're going to talk women's basketball, and we'll go ahead and have Associate Head Coach Jade Rogers on after the break on the HyVee Homestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy, with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Holding, number 79, defense, first down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding, a Pepsi. Necessary refreshment.
Hey, Ted, bring some of that Pepsi to my party.
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
The new HyVee Mega Ad. It's heavy with deals. Look for it in your mailbox in January. You'll find the new HyVee Mega Ad is 88 pages of great deals that are good all month long. Plus, you'll get great tips and recipes. So don't forget to look for the new HyVee Mega Ad, coming to your mailbox every month with deals that are good all month long, starting in January.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your face storm a sandcastle? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? Right now, your mouth could be tongue-bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the dew.
We're back here live at your hometown Oskaloosa HyVee. My next guest is the assistant coach at William Penn University for women's basketball. Her name is Jade Rogers. Jade, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Women's basketball, we just talked about it with Nick Rule, off to a fantastic start, but this is a first-year coaching staff with a lot of players that have been here for a few years, also some new players. We'll talk about the roster and what you guys have accomplished so far, but first, take me through your personal journey through basketball and how you ended up as an assistant coach at William Penn.
Okay, I played college basketball at the University of Iowa. Played there for a year, and then after my first year, actually, I had to become medically retired. I had 7 knee surgeries, so that kind of slowed it down. But
that sounds rough.
Yeah, so I ended up actually turning into kind of a assistant dobo / student coach. So I got to kind of see the behind-the-scenes action of basketball, and that I would just realize I didn't want to be away from basketball. So I kind of just decided, how can I be around the game, and coaching kind of was that path for me. So after Iowa, I ended up going, I moved down to St. Louis, and I helped out at Maryville University for a while. Weird turn of events, I had eligibility left, and so I actually became a player again after I went from the coach side back to the player role. And so that's kind of weird, but I got to play a semester there. And then after that, I got to actually walk off the court on my own terms, which was nice. So I liked the coaching aspect, so I actually moved back to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, coached at Coe College in Cedar Rapids here. And that from then, I mean, I liked it. I just want to be an assistant. Looking down the path, I don't really have a desire right now to be a head coach. I like the recruiting aspect, and I'm a recruiting coordinator here. But after Coe College, I went down to Webster University in St. Louis. I just kind of kept bouncing back from St. Louis and Cedar Rapids. But that's another D3 school down in St. Louis. And then I actually played against Steve, the head coach here. But And we won, just to clarify. But he
I'm sure
ended
he
up.
remembers that too.
We talk about it a lot. But he ended up. We ran into each other out recruiting, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to be up at William Penn. If you are interested in this opportunity," and I was, so came back to Iowa again. So here I am.
And it's been a nice mesh so far, not only with you guys as the coaching staff, but a team that last year was able to, I think, exceed expectations under head coach Willie Scott. And they scored a lot of points. They like to play kind of a loosey-goosey, fast-paced style, try to score as much as the other team. And this year, it's a lot more defensive-oriented with a lot of the same players. When you guys got here and you started working with the players and you started to try to make that shift from a team that just wanted to try to score as many points as possible to a team that just wanted to try to prevent other teams from scoring as much as possible, what was that transition like for this team, and what were your realistic expectations of how quickly they were going to be able to mesh with this new style?
Yeah, and I mean, kind of jumping team to team, on my part, you get to see how players try to adjust to different coaches. I mean, you have Steve come in, and he's telling them the way you did it last year is not how we're going to do this year. So, I mean, you just expect the kind of, not lashback, but it takes a little bit of a learning curve. So I've always been with defensive teams, so it wasn't much different for me, but I think now the girls are starting to see the positive effects of stop the team and limit the points, and then it kind of makes our job on offense a little easier. And a lot of times when we're getting stops, it's generating a lot of offense for us as well. So.
And off to a fantastic start. You entered the holiday break at 9-3 Benedictine. They have to be one of the top teams in the nation from what we saw last night, even without some of their top players. So very impressive what we saw from them. So that loss ended a nice winning streak for you guys and give you your first conference loss, but there's still a lot of high hopes of what you'll accomplish this season. You still have some heavy hitters on the schedule though. What did you see last night that you're hoping that you'll be able to kind of adjust in? You had a girl that averaged 6 points a game go for 36 last night. I don't think that's going to happen a lot of times that you guys are going to go out on the floor, but what are some things that you'll like to see this team adjust to as they play some of these ranked opponents they have on the schedule here in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, Benedictine's a really great team, and I think that we've been playing decent teams on our schedule and some good teams as well, but our conference is so good where you have to be ready to play every single night. And I just think that our level of play wasn't where we needed it to be to compete. And hopefully we took this loss and our girls can see how much better we have to be every night. I mean, every night you're going against a top team in the country, and I think we're at number 4, I think, for teams that are nationally ranked in top 25 in our conference. So just, I think the level of play and how we approach each game, I'd like to see get better.
You do have Graceland on Saturday. Before we talk about them, who on this team? There's some interesting pieces of this team. Sarah Hansen, we know, can score the basketball, but she's kind of morphed into a role that she's also a leader on defense. You have a player we'll talk to in a little bit, Vashti Wagbarocha, who's just kind of a all-tools kind of player, likes to play inside, a good rebounder, a good defender. And then you got a player like Jenna Santee, who we didn't even see at the varsity level last year, and all of a sudden has come out here. She's shot the ball pretty well. She gets you guys into your offense. What players do you think really have adapted to this style well, and that's what helped William Penn grab 9 early wins in the season?
I mean, the 3 you're saying, and Vashti, I'll talk about her obviously later, but I'd say also Sham Troop. I think she fits really well in this. She's a slasher. I don't think she attacked like I wanted her last night, but just recently in practice, you just see that she really fits into our style. Let's see who else. They're all going to get mad at me for not thinking about who they are. Just even somewhere like Jenna. I mean, if she can just run our offense, and she's not the most athletic kid on our team, but I think her IQ is what kind of makes up for that gap. And I think she's number 2, I think, in our conference right now for assist. And just she makes a lot of opportunities for her teammates. But just, I mean, Vashti, she's standing right here, but before when we started the season, I used to get mad at her for not finishing and fading away. And just in this short period, we've only played 12, 13 games now, and she's already really improved since then. And we joke about it in practice, but it's just good. I think since day one, our players have all just really improved. And as a whole, I'd say they've all pretty bought in at this point.
Graceland on Saturday, you guys would love to get a bounce-back win against a divisional team. Yeah. What are your thoughts on what we'll see from the Yellow Jackets coming up on Saturday on the road?
They're just a team. I think they're kind of a sneakier team. I mean, their record doesn't reflect how good they are. I mean, they've been in all the games that they've lost, and I know Coach Howe from high school. I played against him in Cedar Rapids when he was at Washington, and he's just a great coach, so he's going to have these girls ready to go. So, like I said, I just hope the girls come with the level of intensity that we need to put ourselves in the opportunity to win.
William Penn women's basketball will be in action on Saturday against Graceland with the tip-off at 2 o'clock. Jade Rodgers, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to a player for William Penn University, Vashti Nwagbarocha. She'll be sitting in this chair right after the break, right here on the HyVeeHomestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your face storm a sandcastle? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? Right now, your mouth could be tongue-bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
The new Hy-Vee Mega Ad. It's heavy with deals. Look for it in your mailbox in January. You'll find the new Hy-Vee Mega Ad is 88 pages of great deals that are good all month long. Plus, you'll get great tips and recipes. So don't forget to look for the new Hy-Vee Mega Ad, coming to your mailbox every month with deals that are good all month long, starting in January.
Holding, number 79, defense. First down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding. A Pepsi. Necessary refreshment.
Hey, Ted, bring some of that Pepsi to my party.
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
Back here on the Hy-Vee Homestretch, you still have 30 minutes to make it down to your hometown Oskaloosa Hy-Vee and have one of those fantastic $5 meals that are available this evening. I'm currently being joined by a basketball player at William Penn University on the women's side. Her name's Vashti Nwagbarocha.
Yeah.
Got it right. Vashti, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
You are a junior.
Yes.
And this is your third season as a major contributor. We saw you on the floor an awful lot for Coach Willie Scott. Coach Steve Williamson comes into the fray. But before we talk about what you've accomplished at William Penn, how did you end up at William Penn University?
I went to a school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, highest XI high school. Started off playing JV. My last 2 years I played varsity. Didn't get to get on the floor until my varsity year. One of my teammates, she graduated from Penn. She went to Pius. I know her. She introduced me to Penn. When I came, I met some of the girls. I got introduced to Philly and just kind of liked it here. I liked the coach. So just kind of made it.
With Coach Scott, I talk about Swiss Army knife kind of players. You a defender, really strong on the rebounding side of things, and Coach Scott liked to use you and utilize you in those long arms that you have with the fast pace that he liked to play. But then Coach Williamson comes in and institutes a very different style of what he wants to play. How was that transition like for you?
It's different. With Coach Williamson, you really have to think about positioning and where he wants you. Last year is kind of more looser. You kind of was a little more free. Now you really have to think about the game and analyze it and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do.
So far this season, you're off to a fantastic start. You won 9 of your first 13 games. I know last night was a little bit rough against a very good Benedictine team, but overall, best start in a really long time for this women's basketball program on the heels of their first national tournament appearance in several years, I think in a couple of decades. So with this team now, what's the meshing point? How good does it feel to be a part of this team as opposed to maybe last year's team when you guys didn't have those kind of expectations?
This year, we really rely on everyone. Everyone needs to be playing at their best. And when we play at our best, it feels well, we play together, we produce things. So I just think this year it's more of instead of relying on, like last year we relied on Philly a lot, this year we rely on everyone. Everyone has to be at the top of their game, whether it's offensively or if I'm not doing all well offensively, you need to be doing stuff well defensively and picking each other up. And once we're like meshing together well that way, we play well together.
This conference a couple years ago was able to produce 3 of the 4 Final Four teams at the national tournament. It seems like this year might be one of those years again where several of these teams in this conference could go very deep. You guys are going to have to beat some of these teams to work your way into the tournament, but you get to play some of the best teams in the nation. What do you think of the schedule that you guys play, and how much do you attribute the success of you guys as basketball players with the competition level that you have to play at every night in this conference?
Well, some of the more difficult teams in our conference we only play once, which really should make us want to play at the top of our level. It makes you want to play harder, especially when you only play them once. You don't get a second chance to play them back. But with the conference, we just always have to play at our very best because we're not the biggest team. We're probably one of the fastest. So when we're playing at 100% and we're giving everything we have, we play well together. And I think that's what I like best about this conference is that you always have to play at your best because even the teams that are lower in the conference still play well when they're working hard. So that's what we get from this conference.
We've seen that a lot as well, and you guys last year surprised a lot of people with a couple of the big wins you were able to get en route to that national tournament appearance. There are certainly aspects of every team that the players and the coaches are trying to improve. What are a couple of things that you'd like to see the team as a whole improve on as this season moves forward, as you guys try to get some more conference wins and try to make it back to the national tournament?
Getting a lot of stops on defense. Last night we were having trouble with getting stops, and even when we did score, they'd come back and score a 3. Getting out on shooters. I guess attacking the lanes better and looking for passes, finishing, just doing the little things. And when we do the little things well, and Coach Will says it a lot, we're supposed to do the little things, and when we do the little things, we play well together. You
guys are going to be back in action 2 p.m. on Saturday against Graceland on the road in Lamoni. We'll have the broadcast for you at 1:45, so be sure to join us if you can't make it down to Lamoni for that. Vashti, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Vashti Wabarocha, and we are going to flip sides to the men's basketball side of things. We're going to talk to one of their senior stars. Dominic Shaw will be joining me here in this chair after the break. It's the HyVee Homestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy, with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Holding, number 79, defense, first down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding, a Pepsi. Necessary refreshment.
Hey, Ted, bring some of that Pepsi to my party.
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
The new HyVee Mega Ad. It's heavy with deals. Look for it in your mailbox in January. You'll find the new HyVee Mega Ad is 88 pages of great deals that are good all month long. Plus, you'll get great tips and recipes. So don't forget to look for the new HyVee Mega Ad, coming to your mailbox every month with deals that are good all month long, starting in January.
Welcome back, HyVee Homestretch, live from your hometown, Oskaloosa HyVee. I'm currently being joined by a senior for William Penn men's basketball, Dominic Shaw. Dom, thanks so much for joining us.
We're glad to be here.
This basketball team has a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to watch you guys play. And the stories that you guys have on how you ended up at William Penn University are always really fun for us to listen to and talk about. How did you end up at William Penn University?
I left Prairie View A&M at the semester, and then didn't have nowhere else to go. So I turned to my junior college head coach, and he used to coach Coach Henry back in the day when he first started coaching, and it just went from there. And then Coach Henry texted me, and he said, "Come be an All-American and win a national championship." And I signed the letter of intent the next day, and I'm up here.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys like that where great athletes that you get a chance to play with, but what's fun about this particular team, you guys all play different roles. We've seen you specifically take over a lot of games when the offense has been struggling. You take a lot of shots and try to get William Penn back in games, and you've had some big games so far this season through the first 14 games. When you got to campus and you started playing with some of these guys that are on this team now, and you're seeing them on the floor and you guys are all meshing together and playing together, what did you think of what this team may be able to accomplish with this particular group?
Oh, no doubt in my mind, national champions, no doubt. That's the mindset coming in. That's the mindset going to be all season. So when we met each other, we all had the same thing: do anything to win a national championship.
National championship or bust this year. It was a Final Four appearance last year. I know there's a lot of guys, including Brandon Trotter, Corbin Medley, that really like to get back and try to rectify that and get themselves a national title as well. For you, coming into this season and knowing that you were going to get an opportunity to have the green light, shoot the ball an awful lot, score a lot of points, is that a style that you've preferred throughout your career, to be able to play up and down, or are there some things that you adjusted when you got to William Penn?
Scoring is nice and all, but I'm going to do anything to win. So if I need to stop somebody or score, I'm going to do anything it takes to win.
So far this season, only one loss. It was that Peru State game. But you guys, and you in particular, were trying to lead an offense that really had a hard time shooting that particular game. Since that's the only blemish on your guys' record, did you guys take away anything from that particular game as you were looking to try to make some adjustments, knowing that you were not going to go undefeated this season and you didn't want to have any more losses like that in the future?
Oh yeah, of course, that loss was disappointing, but it really snapped us back to the reality that we can't get beat any night. So, I think since that loss, we became more aggressive and more prepared in teams in conference. So yeah, we're ready.
Last night's game against Benedictine, you had that long layoff and that long break. I know you guys had an opportunity, a lot of you guys had a chance to go home, take a break, not get on the feet for too long. You came back, started getting back into it, but how was that about a month-long break, and what were you able to do to try to stay sharp before you had that Benedictine game?
I just put up a lot of shots, tried to rest a little bit, but it was a little too long for me. I was ready, and not just me, just the whole team was ready to get back and get at it. We was all anxious, so I'm glad we're back and we got something to finish. We got something to prove.
You guys, it didn't feel like a normal William Penn game last night against Benedictine, but you still threw up 109 points. Mm-hmm. They did score a lot of points in the second half, but you guys had built up a 30-point lead before that had happened. How did last night feel, and do you think there's anything from what happened last night that you guys can improve on before you get into Saturday's game against Graceland?
Oh, most definitely. It felt good to be back out there. We got some players back. Akeem, he started back, and it felt good to have him out there controlling us, putting us in the right spots. But you can always get better from each game. We were not perfect at all, so that's why we practice today and tomorrow to get ready, get better each day.
Last question for you, Dom. This team, we talk about national championship aspirations, but if there was one thing that you would like to see this team as a whole get better at as the season wore on, so you would be prepared to play some of these top teams, not only in this conference but in the nation, what are a couple of things that you'd like to see improved?
Just defense. That's our whole thing all year, is preaching defense, steals, blocks, deflections. We get better at that. There's no team that can stop us.
Dominic Shaw, we appreciate you for coming in. William Penn men's basketball playing Graceland on the road 4 p.m. on Saturday. Dom, thanks so much. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to the head honcho himself, head coach John Henry. He'll be joining us, talk about men's basketball, William Penn University, right after this on the HyVeeHomestretch on the No Coast Network.
If you like to save money and save time, then this is what you'd call a really big deal. HyVeeDeals.com is where you'll find hundreds of deals, all on one mobile-friendly website. HyVeeDeals.com makes saving money easy with digital coupons, weekly ads, fuel savers, and more. For one-stop savings, start here. Get all the latest deals at HyVeeDeals.com today.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your face storm a sandcastle? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? Right now, your mouth could be tongue-bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
The new HyVee Mega Ad. It's heavy with deals. Look for it in your mailbox in January. You'll find the new HyVee Mega Ad is 88 pages of great deals that are good all month long. Plus, you'll get great tips and recipes. So don't forget to look for the new HyVee Mega Ad, coming to your mailbox every month with deals that are good all month long, starting in January.
Holding, number 79, defense. First down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding. A Pepsi. Necessary refreshment.
Hey, Ted, bring some of that Pepsi to my party.
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
Back here in the HyVeeHomestretch, my final guest this evening is the men's basketball coach at William Penn University. His name is John Henry. John Henry, thanks so much for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me, Emery.
This season has been fun. We can talk about it all we want, but the first question I have for you is that holiday break. Everybody handles it a little bit differently. You were kind of excited to just take a deep breath and have all your guys take a deep breath, rest up, get some guys back after the semester. What went on during the break?
Well, we got back on the 30th, had late practice, 8 p.m. on the 30th. We've just gone once a day. It was 8 p.m. on the 30th. It's been 2 to 4 since then. And then played Benedictine last night and got a good win out of that. But basically just some review, add a couple of things here and there. We added a couple of sets, tweaked some defensive philosophy. It's a really good time to put in some new stuff and just make sure everybody's on the same page, review everything.
The break was nearly a month long, and we had some questions, myself and my broadcast partner Kylie Broadway, on the broadcast last night as to would there be any rust for a team that didn't shoot the ball too awful well in the first portion of the season, and they came out and shot the ball really well the first time out. And you talked about a guy coming back like Akeem Santila, and Dom just mentioned, he came out, shot the ball well right out of the gates in the first half, and you mentioned that you think he's the best shooter on this team. Is this, you thought last night may have been a turning point in getting that percentage up, especially from long range?
Yeah, I knew it was a matter of time before we started shooting better. We just couldn't go that much longer. Coming into the season, Coach Sanquist and I thought that this would be one of our better shooting teams from distance, and it just hasn't been. It's been, quite honestly, it's been a struggle. But getting him in the mix, I think he gives everybody else confidence because it is so pretty and it goes in, and then everybody else says, well, I can do that too. We did have 21 days off from the time we got off the bus coming back from Evangel to the time that we started practice. You never know how you're going to react. I was nervous last night because Benedictine had actually played a game on the 30th. They had started practice on the 26th, so they had the rust off and they were ready to go. And coming in, they're undefeated, and we were 2-1, so I was very pleased with the outcome.
Shot the ball well, put up 109 points in a game that didn't necessarily have a William Penn rhythm to it. There were some stoppages, there were quite a few turnovers. Benedictine, William Penn wasn't the cleanest in the offensive half, but it was still 109 points thrown up there. Your team's averaging 108 points per game. The points, and your one loss, you scored 91 points and you shot, I think, 26% from three-point land in that game. Dom just said that the one thing that you guys focus on is defense, but everybody would say you're scoring 108 points a game. How are you not working on offense at all? So explain the overall philosophy of William Penn basketball for me.
Lately, and Dom's locked in right now to defense because every practice we've had since we got back has had 4 or 5 different drills, and the theme has been defense. Offensively is really what makes us go. What we're different is we want a lot of possessions and we want to play fast. And I think I don't know if I've said this on this program before, but I know I've said it publicly in other forums. Is we want to play so fast and have so many possessions. If you're on the other team, if Emery Songer's on the other team and he's averaging 8 points a game, and at halftime you have 14 points individually, what are you thinking?
Give me the ball,
I'm having a great game tonight, and the score is 52-46, William Penn's up. Those players are having a blast. The other team's coach is saying, slow down, slow down, slow down. We don't play like this. These guys practice like this. They play like this every day. You can't do this for 40 minutes. That player who's averaging 8, who has 14, is saying, yeah, whatever. I'm going for 30 tonight. This is my night. They might stick with us for a while, hopefully, but hopefully we wear them down. The 10-minute mark, maybe we, take complete control and hopefully turn it into a lopsided victory by conditioning in our style play. The teams that have been successful beating us have been able to slow us down for whatever reason. There are different reasons. I could get into that, but there are a handful of teams over the last 6 or 7 years who have been able to slow us down, and then we have to be able to, like a boxer, change our style and slug it out and still get the victory. And luckily, we've done that quite a few times. But we want to play fast. We want it to be in the 90s, the 100s. I always tell them I want to have 45 to 50 points at halftime. I don't like those 65, 60 games. I don't like watching them on TV. You know, I like watching basketball that players are playing and using their skill sets, and it's an exciting brand to watch.
It's fun for us to broadcast as well. I don't get a lot of opportunity to describe the action as it's happening because it does happen so fast, but people liken 108 points, you must play a system like Grinnell College or you know, Loyola Marymount, and try to find ways to just go back and forth, and you want to get that team in that track meet style of game. But this team really hunkers down defensively, and you want them to hunker down defensively. We saw a lot of switching last night. Mike Donaldson is out there on guards, and he's clamped down. He's not going to let that guy get by him. You guys defensively let the opposition kind of roll into what they want to do, and you try to take that away as you try to get them to eventually start speeding up their pace. So this unit that you have right now, how does this rank defensively with the length and some of the athletes that you've had compared to some of the more recent William Penn teams?
The more recent good teams, really good teams, it's towards the bottom of, if we're ranking like the top 5 or 6, it's probably towards the bottom, honestly. Now, I think that by the end of the season, if they take to it, we could be towards the top because we have interchangeable parts. Like you said, Mike Donaldson and J.C. Alexander, Brandon Trotter can guard 1 through 5. And that's not something we've always had. Even the great Keith Stefik struggled on the perimeter to guard people. Those 3 kids that I just mentioned can guard anybody. And that's why we're doing a lot of switching. We also think that Rel and Akeem and Darius and Corbin and some of those guys that play the wing that maybe aren't the tallest of guys can hang in there with a post player for moments, you know, a 6-7 second moment to where we can switch back. So we do have interchangeable parts. When and if we get D'Angelo Allen, that adds a 4th guy that can guard 1 through 5. And we're hoping that can be in the next 7 to 10 days, but we're still up in the air about that.
With this team and the success you've had at 13-1 so far this season, you've won some games in different ways, but the typical nature is that it is pretty balanced in terms of who's getting all of the shots. Offensively, this team is as potent as it can be. You talked about, you thought that on paper this would be one of your better shooting teams, but
it is one of the better scoring teams. Like you were there for Evangel when we scored 58 in the second half without hitting a 3.
Didn't make a 3 yet.
Scoring's not really our problem. And people say, well, you know, when you look at the statistics, you know, maybe last night we gave up 91 points. Well, most coaches would be crazy, you know, mad about that. Well, if we're scoring 109 or 108, I'm okay with giving up 90 or 91. You got an 18-point win. There's going to be a lot of points scored by the other team. I mean, even some of the lesser competition we played this year. I mean, Maranatha Bible, I think, scored 85, 88 on us. But when we have 138, you know, something's got to give. And that's why we try to concentrate on defense because we know our kids have got our offense. And the first day of practice, that's the first thing we're doing is putting in our fast break system and telling kids we want to attack, shoot when you're open. We want them confident. You know, offense is going to be, you know, we can do that anytime we want. And then we come back and say, but we're going to play some D. And, you know, we're not where we want to be defensively, but we will be.
This unit as 1 through 9 or 10 or 11 or however many guys we'll see eventually in this rotation, with years past, it felt like you had the one guy who you could, I need a bucket. Give this guy the ball. Torrin Jones last year, just get the guy the ball down the
Jarvis block. Haywood and Torrin Jones.
Yeah, you had guys that, you know, option 1, option 2, that, you know, we need points, give these guys the ball.
Roundtree, Brady, and Jarvis the year before that, yeah. Beasley, Keith,
yeah, exactly.
Schwab.
Alex Schwab, Kelly Madison. You have always had that 1-2 punch, and I'm trying to figure out, because I've seen at various times this season already, let's go ride some J.C. Washington in the post for a few possessions. Let's get Mike Donaldson involved down low. Let's let Dom shoot 25 times tonight. Rel, I need points. Go get me points at the rim. It seems like you have a lot of guys that you can rely to do that. Is there a specific hierarchy, or are you guys just going to kind of figure that out as you go?
There is a specific hierarchy. I'm not going to say it because the players haven't had that situation yet. At Rocky Mountain, we played at Aberdeen against Rocky Mountain, and there was a point in the game where we went to Dom Shaw, and he got us about 4 straight baskets and put the game at about a 12, 14-point range. I would say he's probably the alpha scorer right now. But we haven't really had to do that because, like you said, Akeem, let's take last night, for instance. All 5 of our starters took 11 or more shots. All 5 of our starters scored 14 or more points. I think it was 14, 16, 17, 21, and 23.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And that's with JC coming off the bench, Trotter coming off the bench, and Corbin Medley had 9. It's a great thing to have as a coach, is that, maybe we'll just ride whatever the hot hand is that night. But I know that Dom Shaw is probably the guy right now. And I don't have to call Rel's number for him to get points in bunches. Mike just always seems to be around the ball like a junkyard dog. And JC is good at just about anything. He's probably our best passer and defender. So it's a good luxury to have.
Now we go from Benedictine, and you were up by 30 in that game. We talked about it last night. They came back and made it a little interesting, down to 14, but for the most part, you guys had that one in hand most of the second half. You go into this Graceland game on Saturday, and you told me you were very excited for this game. You like going down there in Lamoni. And
I don't know if I like going down to Lamoni. I like playing Graceland.
You like playing Graceland. We're going down to Lamoni whether we like it or not on Saturday, and you made it very clear this is a game you really want to win.
Yes, I had. I told the team afterwards. I stated it in the media release, the paper, the web, all that. Me and you talked off air. We've got kind of a small rivalry with Graceland. Quite honestly, it might be a rivalry between me and Coach Doty more than it is Graceland and William Penn. Very successful young coach down there. Maybe I'm the old man, but our styles, our players are similar, and it's always fun to get at it with those guys. And played in the championship game on ESPN last year, and that was a lot of fun. And just looking forward to the competition between the two coaches and the two teams, and it's going to be a blast. They're 4-0, we're 3-1. Yep. We've been in this league for 3 years, and there have been very few weeks where we have not been in first place, and we're not in first place right now, and they're trying to take over what we've had basically for the last 2.5 years. So our plans are to hopefully go down there and take back, our positioning.
What do you think about tomorrow night? Your buddy, your son Cole Henry's got a big game against Norwalk.
I asked my wife that last night because we haven't seen each other that much since we got back in action, and I said, have you thought about Friday night? And she's like, yeah, let's not talk about it. So, it's going to be fun. What are the rankings? Is it 1 versus 4?
In the AP poll, it's 1 versus 4. Norwalk's 1, Oskaloosa's 4. Norwalk's getting closer to unanimous first place votes in the AP. They're 8-0. The rankings I like to use, the Iowa Prep Hoops rankings, and they have Oskaloosa 4 and Norwalk 5. So it just kind of depends on where you look. Sure. But it's a top 5 matchup regardless.
When was the last time something like that happened here?
Yeah, especially with 2 unbeaten teams.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Going to be packed house.
Yeah, we'll have that on Friday, but we'll also be seeing you there.
You riding with us?
On Saturday, we will be, yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a good time.
On the bus?
On the bus, yeah.
Okay, good. Good times.
We'll have a chance to kind of unravel Friday night's game, I think.
Probably. Coach
Henry, it's always fun talking to you, man.
Yep.
I appreciate
always love being here.
All right, that is Coach John Henry. We appreciate him. We appreciate Jade Rogers, Dominic Shaw. We also thank Vashti Wong-Barocha and Athletics Director Nick Rule at William Penn University. We appreciate everybody for joining us as well here for another great edition of the Hy-Vee Homestretch. We'll have another fresh edition next Thursday at 6 p.m. We appreciate our director as well, Titus Letzering, and Kenny Jones back in the No Coast Network studios. For everyone, this is Emery Songer signing off for another edition of the Hy-Vee Homestretch right here on the No Coast Network.